Okay, good evening, morning, or afternoon, whatever we're going to say, and welcome along to my third video. I'm really starting to enjoy this now. I'm actually starting to think about it as I'm on the bus going to work, on the bus coming home. It's better than thinking about other things, let's be honest. What have I got to tell you this week? Well, it's been an interesting week and it's only Monday. I have a new man in my life. He's absolutely awesome. He moved in over the weekend. He's not that tall, but there again, neither am I, 5'4", in case you're interested. He's a bit of a daddy figure, has to be said, and I'd like you all to meet him. So let me just move out the way a bit, and here he comes. Yeah, here he comes. Can you see him? There we go. Oh, going the wrong way there. I have a 31-inch Darth Vader. How awesome is this? He is brilliant. He's in his box at the moment because right now I'm thinking like Sheldon Cooper, Big Bang Theory. Can't take him out of his box, but I so want to. He was a present from my brother Tommy and his family, and he's amazing. He's absolutely fantastic. Really, really great. Absolutely love him. So that's the new man in my life. Darth, you sit down there, mate, and listen to the rest of the rubbish I'm going to burble. So yeah, thank you to Tommy, Shelby, Jamie and Sarah, who were down for the weekend. Had a fantastic time with them. Went all around London, not as fast as we would have liked, as was mentioned once or twice. And a word of advice to anyone who's thinking of coming down to London this weekend coming up, or the weekend after, the weekend before Christmas, don't do it. For God's sake, don't. Most of the shops you want are probably where you are. Yes, you can go to the theatre, blah, blah, blah. Most of the shows are sold out, so don't bother about that. There are millions of people, absolutely millions. It's amazing. I've got to go into town again on Saturday because I am off to the Royal Opera House to see the Royal Ballet version of the Nutcracker. So looking forward to that. Unbelievable show. But otherwise I wouldn't be going anywhere near the West End for the next couple of weeks. So yeah, come down. Don't expect to get anywhere fast. Don't expect anyone to smile or be cheerful. I have never seen more grumpy people behind shop counters than at the moment. Even in the M&M store, where everyone is horribly cheerful. And it smells, by the way. If you don't like the smell of sweet chocolate, avoid the M&M store. So that's it. So yeah, the guys came down, had a lovely weekend, did really enjoy it. We went over to Hampton Courts, skating. I didn't skate because, as I explained at the time, I may look like a weeble, but not only will I wobble, I will fall down. So I was very sensible and had some hot chocolates with some beautiful, beautiful cream on top. Really enjoyed it. Fantastic time. So that's that. What else was I going to talk about today? You know what? I've completely forgotten. Actually, I haven't. Just trying to get you thinking it was all going to be over soon. It's not, I'm afraid. You're stuck with me for a little bit longer. Last night I went to see the Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and I've got to say, amazing. Absolutely amazing. If you've read the books, you will not be disappointed. It was really, really weird. I was watching the film, there was a couple of bits that were in the books that weren't in the film, but I hadn't even thought about them until afterwards, because they followed the book itself so well. Fantastic film, absolutely amazing. Gotta say, cried like a baby yet again. There's a lot of tears, there's a lot of times when tears can happen, there's a lot of shocks, there's a lot of scares, there's a lot of everything, every emotion under the sun you can have in there. The ending, very, very close to the book. If you haven't read the book and you haven't seen the film yet, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but it's just unbelievable. It really is. If you're a girl or a chap of a certain orientation, plenty to look at. And I went with a friend of mine and we were discussing afterwards whether we were Team Gail or Team Peter. Really, really weird, because originally I was Team Gail, mainly because Liam Hemsworth has got the most fantastic eyes I've ever seen. But I found myself really, really warming to Josh Hutcherson as Peter. He was just amazing. He's just comes across as really sincere, as he's not classically handsome. Obviously, he is attractive. He's got a good body, but he's got a fantastic personality. And that's not just in the way the character's written, although there is a lot of that there, but it's also just in the way it's played. Other couple of bits to mention: Don Sutherland as President Snow, truly astounding. I don't think I could think of anybody else who would play that part now. He has the most perfect amounts of evil, pure evil, behind the smile, behind the very gentle words, and he doesn't raise his voice, he doesn't shout, except at one point, and by then, well, saying nothing. But he just comes across that evil person. Amazing bit of acting from him. Stanley Tucci as Caesar Flickerman, again, very, very great piece of acting. Not in my mind who I thought Caesar was when I was reading the book, but he does work it really, really well. He plays the character perfectly. He plays the, if you like, insincere game show host, which I think is a good summing up of Caesar. And at one point you see where things aren't going right, and you see the real Caesar come out. It's really difficult because there were so many fantastic characters in there. Nuts and Bolts, they were great. They didn't make as much of them as they could have done, I think. But that's possibly me. In the book, they do actually take up a little bit more room. Some of the other characters from the first film didn't really do that much. Katniss's mother is still lovely. Her sister's really grown up, and it shows, and it's just fantastic. Jenna Malone as Joanna Mason, she was great. She was exactly like the book, exactly, and she was just brilliant. And she I can't tell you because if you haven't seen it, haven't read it, you don't know what happens, but she just came across so well as such a fantastic character. Whether you'd want her on your side or not, I'm not so sure. Personally, maybe not. And of course, you have to talk about, and I'm trying desperately to find his name, but it's gone missing. Fennec. He was, yes, very, very attractive, amazingly attractive. When you first see him, he's just about wearing basically a necklace and very little else. And Sam Claflin, who plays him, or Claflin, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, does it very well, but he didn't quite get the seediness, shall we say, of Finnick in the book. The way Finnick first of all comes across in the book is very seedy, very leering type, very I don't know, me on a Saturday night when I've had too much to drink, that sort of person. So he didn't quite do that for me, but I grew to love him as we went through the point where he does what he does. Peter was just great, and there's a lovely bit of banter almost between him and Katniss, which just works so very well. The sets, the costumes, the design, everything, absolutely amazing. Panem, which is the capital, or the capital of Panem, the capital, is just what I'd imagined it, but so much more. When the tributes come out for their ride through to be presented to the crowd and to the president, that's superb. Not a film that relies massively on its special effects. They are in there, obviously. You couldn't have 5,000 screaming mutt baboons attacking people in real life. At least one would hope not. But it relies on the story, it relies on the characters, and it relies on the interaction between the characters. So I would recommend it. The only thing I would say is, if you haven't read the books, see the first film first, the original Hunger Games, before you see this, because although you can see them separately, I think you should really see one and then two, just so you don't miss out on bits of the story. So we got a little bit of a critique there of the Hunger Games, which you may have guessed I enjoyed slightly. I'm going to have a quick glass of wine. 'tis the season and all that, and I know it's a Monday night, but the bottle's open, so you know we don't want it to go off. As you can see behind my shoulder there, a little bit of a Christmas tree, only a diddy one, 3 foot high, little flat. It does look nice. I quite like it. I'm not going to go wild on Christmas decorations. We put a Christmas tree up in the office today. That looks nice. Slowly getting into the spirit. Although personally, I'm not that excited about Christmas. However, I got told by someone I was talking to over the weekend that I'm always complaining about the buses. So my final thing tonight is to praise the buses. I left work tonight, went to the shop to pick up some stuff, went to the bus stop. There was a bus coming in, number 1. It was jam-packed. If you live in London, you'll know what I mean, but on most of the bus stops we have these little black indicator boards that tell you exactly when the next 10 buses are going to arrive. So the number 1 comes in, the next bus down was another number 1 which was a minute away, so I ignored the first one. Everyone crowded on it, pushed themselves in, thrust them in, they were being barely able to breathe, usual stuff. Second bus turned up, virtually empty. Got on there, 2 seats to myself, nice and sat down, very relaxed. Got home, very chilled out. So TFL, that's 1 up for you. Okay, if you like what you've seen, or you don't like what you've seen, feel free to add some comments. I'm going to post this now, but I'm going to have a quick review, see whether I like what I'm seeing. And if I don't speak to you before, have a fantastic Christmas or whatever festival you want to celebrate. And if I do see you before, because I decide I want to do another one, which I probably will, thinking about it since going to the Royal Opera House, dead excited, then, and I better mention it because otherwise I don't, going to the Royal Opera House with Lynn Bradley, my Haribo wife. Don't ask. And Mum, if you're watching this, that does not mean that she's ever going to marry me, just in case. So yeah, I may end up posting another one of these next week after going to the Royal Opera House. If I don't, have a fantastic Christmas, lovely New Year. If I do, I'll see you next week. Bye for now.